For me, I met Alistair Sarris back in 1994 when I had about to do a restaurant up in Bendigo, and I had all these great ideas, but I'd become very, very confused because trying to put all these ideas into one venue, I needed a lot of help. And I met Alistair Sarris and he came up to Bendigo. We worked through that. A lot of my expensive ideas, Alistair pointed out that they just weren't needed. So what we ended up doing is I employed him and we worked through the whole project and opened up a restaurant called the Match Restaurant in Bendigo. What I found with Alistair is you could sit down, run through all your ideas, come up with something that was a cheaper renovation with much more impact. From there, several years later, I took on an empty building and I was going to do a nightclub. So again, I employed Alistair to come up, help me design this nightclub called Tonic. And it was an Art Deco style bar. What we came up with was an absolutely amazing Art Deco theme. From there, it became a great success. Several years later, I purchased the hotel up in Bendigo called the Metropolitan Hotel. And again, I had all these great ideas. I was going to spend a fortune in pulling walls out and doing different bits and pieces. Again, I got very confused on what I needed to do and where I needed to spend my money. So I got Alistair back up there. Not only did we save an absolute fortune on not overdoing it, but the concept and where it ended up, Darby O'Gill's Irish Pub, things that we were going to pull out, we left and created much better spaces. That hotel ended up amazing and it was a great success as well. Once we finished that project, I think it was probably around 2000, I purchased the Pier Hotel in Port Melbourne and it was a derelict building. I had 1,000 ideas of what I needed to do and what I thought I could come up with. Again, totally confused, too many ideas going everywhere. I dragged Alistair down here and we sat there on a serviette and drew up what I thought and what he thought, and all the areas I was going to waste a lot of money, he talked me out of. We ended up designing what's still here today, 22 years later, the Pier Hotel. It's got some great spaces, simple design, works well for both the customers and the staff, because it needs to be practical as well. It's not a matter of just building something that's beautiful and throwing money at it. It's got to be profitable. And to make it profitable, you've got to think of so many different things come into it. That are the patrons going to be comfortable? Are they going to stay in your venue for 30 minutes or are they going to stay here for 2 hours? The staff facilities, how they're going to get the food out, is all things you've got to consider when you're designing a venue. It's not a matter of just throwing money at it and getting to the end and saying, well, now I can't afford it. Alistair was very, very good at bringing us in on budget, and sometimes there was things that were going to just cost too much money to do, and we'd go back to the drawing board. From there, he'd come up with another idea on the spot. Instantly, we've just eliminated $100,000 that we don't need to spend, and it ended up just as good. In about 2011, we took back over a property I owned up in Bendigo and opened up a nightclub called Hoo-Ha Club. And it was a bit the same. I dragged Alistair up there. We got a serviette out sitting at a table and wrote down 100 different ideas and then went through the elimination process of what would work, what's going to be too dear to do and what not. And we designed one of the best looking nightclubs that you've ever seen. I worked back and forth between Alistair and I. We didn't always agree. Many a time I'd sit there and say, I want to do this. We'd both compromise. Alistair was very, very good at getting you back on track, and through talking to your tradies, and they'd get you very confused, and a lot of them would want to take a shortcut, and they'd be talking into doing something different halfway through the project. Alistair would come back in and pull you straight back on track and clear your mind of the confusion that you get when you're renovating a house or a venue. So that's where he was worth every red cent. He's really saved me a fortune in design and development simply by not overdoing it. Get it right the first time, spend the money where you have to. By using Alistair, it was just a no-brainer for me. I think after we finished Tonic, we are now working on another project for the Sky Bar at the pier in Port Melbourne. We're putting 2 more floors on top of the building. We're already well into the design, and I come up with different ideas. Alistair refines those ideas and works out the best way that we can construct it and the cheapest way to get the best result through his experience. You just save money in the long run. The Sky Bar, hopefully we get it up and going by 2024. I'm pretty confident that what we come up with this time is going to be the #1 project that I've worked with Alistair on in my time. He also helped me design my house, which we've just finished. He can speed up your process massively. He is worth every red cent that he's ever cost me because I'm miles in front. I wish him all the best, and hopefully we can work past this project to the next projects that we do.